One. Hello, everyone. This is Mamang Masidiso Mokoni. Welcome back to season 3 of MkhuluNdlondlo, the second show. We had just started with episode 1 when we had to then cut it off so that we can have a part 2 of that episode of discussing the journey that MkhuluNdlondlo II has to traverse or had to traverse towards becoming now MkhuluNdlondlo II. So, but before we get into that, let us welcome MkhuluNdlondlo II. Welcome, Mkhulu.
I'm welcome. Thank you.
Oh, I see today that you are now by the waterfalls. Wow, wonderful.
Yes, I'm a water bearer.
Yeah, why didn't you invite me? Anyway, let's not get into that. Let's get into the serious issues now. So, Mkhulu, in part 1 of our episode 1,
Yes.
we were discussing your journey as you were told where to go so that you can then be taken through this journey where you're going to meet not HRG, pardon me, where you're going to meet your great ancestor, Ndlondlo.
Yes.
So please take us through that, because when we finished our conversation, you were at the Gobelas and they were about to take you to the water. Take us through that.
Actually, we had left. We were en route there. You remember we were in that chain retail store where
Yes.
for the first time I heard MkhuluNdlondlo excitedly. I heard this voice and it resonated with me. I was curious, but I didn't ask anyone who that was, and he didn't tell me who he was. And I didn't even at that point associate him with MkhuluNdlondlo. But for some reason, it just felt like it was someone I knew, you know? And
Wow.
it's like taking notice of something, judicial notice of something, if you like,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, it's one of us. No need to be debating it. Let's move on. So
Yes.
that was a very significant gesture for him to make an appearance at that point, and to actually point to the people who were around me as my people, you know. Um, and then we left the shopping center. I was covered again in that big white cloth, and they were beating the drum like there's no tomorrow, you know, and drinking beer, and it was just one big party. I'm sitting there listening to this, but it helped because it distracted me from what lay ahead, you know, because I ended up listening to this, and then those guys are talented. The way they beat that drum, I wouldn't do it, you know.
Yeah.
And they were singing, and their singing resonated with my soul, you know. It was like they were singing from a distance, far from me, and the drum beat was like far removed from me, and I was like beside myself, you know, as I was settling in to the reality that I was headed for something mystic, inexplicable.
Mm.
I don't think even my Gobelas knew what was ahead of me. They just did what they had to do because it was procedural, or they were instructed to do what they were to do for me, because everyone's path is different. It's no one size fits all, you know. A good Gobela will tell you stories about different life paths that they have assisted, guide along the path, you know. So we get to the riverside, and the Niger River didn't disappoint in Niger. It was flowing and real hard. I looked at the falls and couldn't believe that I was because I was and I appreciated that, you know. Everybody else was there, but it mattered more to me that my mother was there, you know. And it gave me a lot of comfort. A parent is a treasure beyond measure, you know. That kind of connection you have with your parent, it cannot be made light of, you know. But even in that moment, I felt I needed my father more, you know, because I I was raised to believe that the hard stuff were taken care of by my father, you know, and he always made light of things, you know, and he had ways of explaining things in ways that I would relax knowing that they are taken care of. I don't need to worry about them. But it's no more, and I'm there. And like I said, there's no deputy here. And come on, man. I don't know if you are feeling me.
Mm.
Hey, you
Mm.
you get there, and then they start setting up by the river and all. And you must understand that I come as a tuner, and I'm going now to change gear into Ndau culture, you know. And this one is the Inferno guy, the matchbox guy. And then this one is the Tsunami guy. At some point, water and fire must harmonize. What that's going to be, I don't know. Now, I'm wearing beads that had to do with Saint Magnes.
Okay.
Yes, it's true. You know, for spiritual protection by Saint Magnes. And now, question is, do I appear before my paternal figurehead wearing my maternal side protection in front of him? I want you to feel me. Now, you are a man. Where are your loyalties? You are raised in a patriarchal environment. And you are raised to understand that you are kutumer. You're not Fiklen. Fiklen is your uncle. Okay? And now you are going to meet your father's great ancestor. And now are you going to appear with your maternal insignia? Do you understand the tug of war there?
I can imagine.
Yeah. Now, I decided to just leave it to the Gobelas. Everything is fine. I could be excused. I'm just a small child. I don't know anything. I'm submitting myself to the process. So I can't be faulted. I was brought here. So what do we do from here? And then they started slaughtering and preparing the muti and beating the drum and dancing a storm and drinking and I'm covered in that white cloth until everything was ready. And then they take me to the spot at which I was to be submerged. Okay. Now they take off the beads that had to do with Saint Manisa and threw them into the river. And they went off with the river. Hey, that cut deep. I felt like I was really, yeah, and I have to be obedient. I can't come across as someone who has a leg to stand on to exercise any kind of right to take exception, you know, to anything, because you are an initiate.
Yeah.
You know, and discipline of a military nature is expected of you. You do as you are told. You don't ask questions. Yeah, I didn't like that. And I couldn't ask them why they would do that. So we got to the spot and they called my mother. And then they asked her, there was a big rock by the falls. And then they asked her to sit by me. And then they explained to me that my mother was supposed to be, to had been the one to take up the calling from Saint Manisa. And then the previous governors did not do things properly. So there was never a handover from my mother. My mother was supposed, there was supposed to have been a ritual that was to be conducted where my mother, you know, deferred to me, you know, to say that I know, acknowledge, and agree is that my son takes my place, you know. So they did that ritual. She sat by me because of her advanced age. I mean, she's over 80. She couldn't be submerged, but she sat by me, and then they took all those muti, they had her ingest that muti, drink it, and poured it all over her, and took buckets of water and just poured loads of water on her, and hey, you'd feel it, you know, you go like, hey, stop it, you know. And I had to restrain myself, you know. And it was soon over, and then she was escorted away from that scene.
Okay.
It was done successfully. Now, for me, that beating the drum in my ear. And then pepper, and then all those internal muti that was taken out of the chicken, out of the goat, and the placenta, and all that, and all those things, and you know, the gall, and all those bitter stuff mixed all together with muti I had to drink. And the mixed up muti and poured it on top of me and so on, and then I could hear myself catch the frequency, the spirit, and then I could feel myself, get into the scheme of things. And then eventually one came on the left hand side, who was a woman, and then a man on the right hand side. Without warning, they thrust me under.
Yeah.
Amen. I didn't have a chance, to inhale so that I could sustain underwater. I realized that if I am to overpower these people, I have to outsmart them. Pretend like I have yielded to the process so that they relax. And then I mastered muscular strength. Right through to the teeth. I overpowered them and I was able to get out.
What were you trying to do? Run away?
I wanted to inhale, to draw air into my lungs so that I could sustain underwater. Otherwise, I would have had to breathe and water would go into my nostrils and into the lungs, and I was going to cough, and then they were going to submerge, and then I was going to drown. That is the danger of it. But they were more interested in getting me thrust into the water. They didn't think about the physiological effect of the thing.
Maybe because you think too much, Mkhulu.
Sorry?
Maybe it's because you think too much.
There are practicalities here. This is water. There is wishful thinking and there is reality. And the reality of the matter is that if you have not taken sufficient air into the lungs, you're going to run out of breath, and then it's going to necessitate that you breathe. And when you breathe, water is going to go into your nostrils and then into the lungs, and then after that you cough. It's a natural reaction.
Okay.
And then when you cough and these people have thrust you in, what must happen?
Ish.
You will drown.
Yeah.
So I had to keep my wits about me, even faced with that kind of calamity, because it was calamity. There's this thing that when confronted with a lion philosophy ends, yeah, I had to sit down and forget about the purpose of the exercise and think about number one, how to get myself secured, because these guys were not interested in my security.
Okay. So you thought they're trying to just, kill you with water.
Hey, these people are dangerous. They can be very dangerous, because they don't think, they don't seem to understand the danger of these kind of things, their conduct and its repetition, it's a very sensitive matter.
Yeah.
Now, they start hailing abuse at me. And so on and so on. They thrust me again. Now this time I was ready. Then immediately I got in. There's my father. And then I forgot about all these guys outside. And then he just looks at me, expressionless. But it was not him in his aged years, but in his prime years, strong. Who could do that? He just looked at me, expressionless, as though, you know, one with expectations out of me. He was not going to pamper me and treat me with kids. This is big business. You are here on family business and you better step up. That was the kind of advice that I read out of him. And he just viewed me with expectation. And I needed pampering so much. I needed acknowledgement, you know. I needed it so much, but he was not to give it. I'm not doing it for him. I'm not doing it for me. It's something that has to be done. So let's get on with it. Emotions, feelings aside. Let's get the job done. He turns around, he walks. And instinctively, I knew that I had to follow him. But here's the thing that I must get out of the way. There is a professor that was very close to my family, my father's friend. He was a professor of theology. I once asked him after my post-traditional healing graduation, Prof, the scriptures teach us that in the last of days or the day of judgment, the quick and dead, the trumpet will be blown so that the quick and the dead shall rise to appear before the good Lord in judgment. So I need your help here to help me understand how to understand my existential reality, where I experience my spirit body come and go into my physical body as I'm taken on a voyage of discovery in the spiritual realm. You would come and see my body there, you'd say, there lies Ndlondlo there, but it's my corpse, because a physical body without a spiritual body is a corpse. When a spiritual body takes leave of the physical body, the process is called death. And we can no longer speak of so-and-so, we speak of the corpse of so-and-so or mortal remains of so-and-so, because so-and-so is not in that physical body, right? So when they say that which I experience on every other day will happen on Judgment Day, how must I understand this existential experience? I watched him disintegrate, implode, eventually go into a rage, calling me disrespectful. He blocked me. That was the last I could ever reach him, until I realized that he blocked me. So I am taken to remember and take you into my confidence about this incident to explain. When I saw my father underwater, the gorillas remained with my vessel, my physical body, and it was my spiritual body that left my physical body to follow my father. Because you must remember that my father is late, and we buried his physical body. So he comes in a spiritual
form
body. Excuse me, in a spiritual being. So I leave my spiritual being and follow him. I leave my physical being and follow him in my spiritual being. I follow him, and as I followed him, then out of nowhere emerge some aquatic creatures, underwater creatures, gigantic, like dinosaurs.
Wow.
They were huge. They were so huge, I can't measure them. I have never seen such creatures before to even describe what. The least I could do is a tortoise. Some looked like a tortoise. Some looked like a crab.
Okay.
Others, I just can't describe them. I don't know what. They were four-legged creatures. They were huge, gigantic. And then, as I stood behind my father to see what was going to happen, he didn't even look back. No. He just proceeded to walk, and I stopped to see what was going to happen. And then those dinosaurs separated to form a guard of honor.
For you or for him?
No, ahead of us.
Okay.
They formed a guard of honor. And then he continued to walk, and I followed him. But when he got to the entry point of the guard of honor, he vanished, thus leaving me with these creatures. But what struck me was that I was not petrified, I was not horrified. And then Uma Rose came about. I heard her voice. She speaks in the voice of my mother. She say,
yes.
Don't be surprised. Skamakala. Ngwanake. Because Uma Rose doesn't say ngwanake. My grandmother, she says ngwanake. She would say, Skamakala ngwanake. Don't be surprised, my child. We have strengthened your heart so that you are not scared. Okay? All right. I relaxed. And then there was expectation from the dinosaurs that I walked in the aisle, in that guard of honor. And then I entered the guard of honor. Omarus, as I was walking in the guard of honor, she comes back to explain that your father was not availed to go into the guard of honor because he is not the one who is chosen as a king. But you are. That is why your father could not go into the guard of honor, but you. Okay? So, the guard of honor meandered as it went deeper into the water, meandered, and I followed it. And when I got to the end of the guard of honor, they all vanished. I could not see them anymore. And then Omar Rose tells me again that, you see, if you were not the chosen one for the throne, these creatures would have ripped you apart. But they set a guard of honor in recognition of your status as the heir apparent to the throne. Okay? MkhuluNdlondlo is busy here.
He's happy. Yeah.
He's happy that I'm telling the story. You remember, the right nostril is MkhuluNdlondlo, the left is Saint Manis. Now, after they all vanished, I see a crowd of people. You know, like in Venda,
Yes.
men one side, women one side, but they were all covered in white wax. Letsokule lesweu.
Okay.
Amatonga, amhlophe. The white ancestors. They were covered in white clay.
Oh, clay, yes.
White clay. Yeah. So I stood there. They just looked at me. I looked back. I didn't feel anything. I just stood there, reporting for duty.
Okay.
This is underwater. Very cool. The ambience is something else. And then I felt something I'd never felt before. And it made sense to me.
Yeah.
This is what is being referred to as innermost peace.
Yes.
I felt this kind of chill in my chest. It was beautiful. I wish I could describe it.
So you felt at home?
People must work at getting to that point, feeling that. If you haven't felt that, you haven't lived. I promise you. Innermost peace. The purity, of heart. That's why I say you cannot be the chosen one and do all these nefarious things that you hear people say. I give so and so muti to do this and that, and then I wonder what kind of ancestors do these people have? Who allows them to lie? Who allows them to be afraid? Who allows them to bring others into harm's way?
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that happening where I'm concerned. I cannot be afraid. When I'm told you must go in there, you go in there. And I have gone places where I never thought I would have gone, but I went.
Yeah.
In the still of night, you don't have anyone. You are told you must go there on your own. And you must not wear your shoes. And it's an it's in a bush. You don't know what you're going to step on. You must just trust that you'll be protected. That's how you are trained in faith. You cannot say you are faithful but not act on your faith.
Yeah.
You must demonstrate your faith by doing exactly what you are being told. In full trust and belief that there's a higher being that looks over you. Okay? Now that is faith. Not all these things that you hear people in shining suits talk about. They are yet to come across what these things mean. And then as I stood there, the big man makes a grand entrance. Hey, he's a showman, eh? That was like Disney World, you know those roller coasters there. Yeah, he comes there majestically, huge, with a crest.
Yes.
And I didn't need anyone telling me who that was. I knew that was MkhuluNdlondlo. But he doesn't come in human form. He comes in the form of an African rock python.
Okay.
So huge that when I'm standing, the width extends just above my knee. How huge he was. And I'm told he was 30 meters long. He was huge.
Uh-huh.
He was huge.
Mm.
I couldn't measure him. I couldn't even formulate an idea or a guess. You know, I couldn't even give an educated guess as to how long he was.
Mm.
African python.
Mm-hmm.
And underwater is not its habitat. Its habitat is right up there in the mountains, not underwater.
Oh.
And there's a story to that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell a story about that when we talk about exaltation.
Okay,
Now,
so I should make a note of that.
I'll remind you.
I'll make a note of it, Mkhulu.
Okay.
It's my job to remember things. Yes. Mm.
Yeah, so he's got this crest, a hump on his head, and then he's wearing a metal gold crown.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then he just walked in majestically. And then he stood right in front of me, looked me in the eye. And I looked him back in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, it felt like all those people that were seated there didn't exist. And they were there. It was just me and the man. And then he says to me, "Ngubani wena mfana wa?" Who are you, my son? And then Omarose said to say, "Tell him that you are Somotwa Kutumela Somotwa." And then I said, "Somotwa Kutumela Somotwa." And then he said, "Ungazelapi mina wena mfana wa." Where do you know me from, my son?
Yes.
And then Omaro said to say, "Emanzini." Immediately I said, "Emanzini." He said,
What does that mean?
I didn't know what that meant. Omarus told me that it meant roots. You know? So what it meant was that a linear connection, a direct linear connection was established between him and myself.
Yeah.
So many generations in between. He finally gets to meet his direct descendant. So he started dancing. So he was, you know, swerving, and it was a marvel to watch. You know, and as he was dancing and pleased with himself there, you know, then Omarus tells me that a child is never lost to its parent. Motswadi ha latlhehelle ke ngwana hae. Okay? Is the translation correct?
Yes, yes. There's no other way to put it. Yes.
All right. So
yeah, I think.
Omarus explains to me that he was not asking me because he did not know who I was. He asked me because he wanted to satisfy himself that I knew who I was. So that if I had given wrong answers, it meant I was not ready for the throne.
Yeah.
Do you see the significance of spirit guides in your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I have formulated an opinion about what answers to give? I would probably have told him I'm Lucius.
It would have been the end of you, I'm sure.
You know, or maybe told him I was Manyesa and irritated him even worse, you know. So that is one of the pointers to the significance of your ancestors in your life as your guides.
Yes.
You know, Omaros guided me to give the right answers. So he didn't ask you the questions because he did not know who you are. He asked you to satisfy himself that you know who you are. And then the question about Emanzini, because of my Sepedi Saloboa Northern Soto upbringing, when you say to me to say Emanzini and I'm underwater, my instinct was that I was, by saying Emanzini, I knew him from Emanzini, I was saying that I knew him from underwater.
Okay.
That was not it.
Okay.
Then Omaros then comes and says to me, don't make yourself, don't make a fool out of yourself. You know, Emanzini is a place in Eswatini.
Okay.
So when I say I knew him, is a place. Okay. So it is then explained to me that the royal lineage of my family took their senior brides from Eswatini kingdom. So the bride that must birth the heir to the throne must come from the royal household in Eswatini, because that was the tradition. Ndlondlo took from there his son Gaija Nyambos, who was assassinated by King Shaka's Amabuto regiments. Also married in the kingdom, and that is why his wife, the queen, his queen, my great grandmother, was called Madlamini. Okay, so it appears Nambosi was yet to marry other women, because I was told that I must not address my bride from Eswatini as Madlamini, because there will be others from Eswatini who are also entitled to be addressed as Madlamini. I must address her as Mkhulu. Okay? And then MkhuluNdlondlo starts pelting out instructions. Instructions about how to carry myself as a kid. Some of the things you would be familiar with, you must not drink publicly. Because when you do so, you will trample on other people's rights and you will bring shame to the throne. A king does not arrive late at meetings. You must arrive at the venue an hour before the scheduled time. You must protect the image of our family, you know. So he was giving me instructions like that, you know, traveling and all manner of things. It's quite a number of things that he was just. And then we didn't beat each other goodbye. What I knew, what I saw happen out of nowhere was that I was faced with my physical body. I saw my physical body there and I was headed towards it.
Okay.
And then I started hearing voices at the river of the gorillas who took me there.
Yes.
And then suddenly my body yanyagaza, you know, my body shook. And then when my body shook, hey, that was a cause for celebration. Because I could hear them say, Sabuile, Sabuile. It meant the whole success, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo. And I'm dizzy there. And as I was dizzy there, catching breath, the gobela that was on my left-hand side, the female gobela, then comes to me to say, hey, Ndlondlo, Mkhulu wako, akekho right.
Which one now?
Which one? Hey, Wampulana behala. Hey, akekho. And when she said Wampulana, I knew it was Saint Mary's. I was so impressed that he could sing it, you know. He's nearby somewhere nearby to make certain that they did things right. They didn't drown in sport, you know.
Okay. So you were protected throughout.
Yeah. So, from there on, it was no longer on me, you know.
Yeah.
And he started telling me that I must take my rightful place. And he told me that I was already throned. I didn't go there to be throned, but to get his blessings. You know, because the scepter that was held by his son, Greche Nyambos, ended up out there in the field. So I had to come back to him for that. You'll remember in previous sessions I indicated that after my post graduation, my father was seen on the other side of the road buttoning up his long sleeve hat and pleased with himself. And my grandfather Salibona Joseph Kutumela and my great grandfather Philip Matumela Kutumela said he has now done what we sent him to do there. Now his soul may rest in peace. And this is significant because I indicated in one of the sessions that when a person dies, they have an option to either decline the instruction to come back to the sin world to rectify their mistakes. Some humble themselves, they come to rectify their mistakes. Others refuse to do so, which we will then expound on it when we start dealing with the issue of the origin, nature of witchcraft.
Yes. We did say that we remember that. Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Eh?
You do not automatically become an ancestor.
Mm.
It depends on whether you have fulfilled your brief coming to the sin world. And if not, you are availed an opportunity to come back and rectify your mistake, which my father humbled himself and he came here, and I was guided by him throughout my training.
Yes.
And as I've indicated, even with this Ndao one, he's the one who took me there, you know, to Ndlondlo. So he did his part. That is why they said his soul may now rest in peace. But it was on that day that some tall skull chap was asked to bring the anointing oil. And he came with the anointing oil in a golden wheelbarrow. And then they asked me to kneel before them, and they poured the anointing oil over my head.
Yes.
And they told me that Winkosi ephelele. See? So out of this, a whole lot of things transpired. Now, I am throned as king, and I am exalted as a Christ under the auspices of Saint Manis, or leadership guidance of Saint Manisa's academy.
Yes. Academy.
Okay. Now, my light is performing. Let me reduce. Yeah.
Maybe it's a sign that we should round up our discussion.
Yeah. I think we've gone long enough. In our next session, we should then treat our way back to the compound.
Yes.
And then back home. And then how do you then now reconcile the fact that it is no longer just Saint Manisa at home, and now there is MkhuluNdlondlo, and he's the paternal, but there is the maternal there. How do you navigate the power relations? And there is the Gobela who does not want to release you after noticing who you are. And there is a whole lot of dynamics that will pan out.
Okay, so we will address part 3. And if part 3 still doesn't end, we will have part 4, and it will be like a mini series of the whole chapter. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just be guided by the flow.
Yes. Yes.
Are you happy?
I am. I am fascinated because
you've been
you
coaxing me
remember?
for this one now for I don't know how long.
you remember in one of our episodes I actually even mentioned my fascination with your life journey, that it's like a movie, because I mean what you've just described here, I can think of so many different movies where they try to come up with these things, whether they know them also for real or what, but it takes me there, you know. So it's like it's so surreal. It's
permutations.
yeah.
There are so many permutations to this. You talk about a movie, and you are asking yourself as to whether the script writes knew about this and so on. And then it takes us back to what I said some time back in one of the shows, that there are only two people who know what happened prehistorically before Adam and Eve were chased out of the Garden of Eden. And I indicated that it was myself and the Vatican City. Those are the two people who knew. And everyone else is just relying on deductive method of reasoning to put pieces together, through conjecture, through feelings and beliefs and so on. But I was taken on a voyage of discovery.
Yes.
I was shown empathically, and when I say empathically, I mean that when it is said that on that day it was very hot, you are made to feel the temperature with the intensity of the day. When it said it was cold, when it says that the subject under study was heart-wrenched, was heart-sore, you are made to feel the head that person felt with the same intensity. If someone's hand was chopped and they said that he suffered excruciating pain, you will jump out of bed and endure that pain, and you will feel it, course through your spine, right through to your eardrum. You'll feel that pain until it subsides. You feel it. So when you talk about a voyage of discovery, you are not talking about Star Trek or something like that. We talk about the real stuff here. To appreciate what really happened for Adam and Eve to be kicked out, and after they were kicked out, what transpired, and why were they kicked out, and why were those before them kicked out before? And what is that reality got to do with the New World Order as we have come to know it today? And how did this New World Order develop up to a point? So it's just that we tend to think of historical phenomena in bits and pieces. We don't connect them into one continuum so that we understand the historical development. And now you think in a synthetic kind of fashion. That bit there, but you never come to sit down and analyze them, put together this together, so that you have a holistic understanding of what transpired. And the easy way out for today's intellectuals is to then rely on culture and tradition to try and reason out spiritual phenomena. And one of the gravest mistakes that we make is to allow them to treat religion as something that is at variance with culture somewhat. And religion itself is a culture. It sells a particular outlook and conduct. And how do you define culture?
Mkhulu, now we're getting into another topic.
No, I'm just saying that when you say that your life is like a movie, there are a host of permutations, Now, there are those philosophical questions. Reality. What is reality? What is the plain truth? And who is the custodian bearer of the true definition of reality? And truth. Those are philosophical
So
questions.
we are getting into some philosophical matters here, and I think it's something that deserves an episode where we can discuss, about such reality, truth.
Yeah.
I think we need to discuss it
it
at
will,
some
it will,
point.
it will be a lifetime discussion. I mean, if you want to understand what I'm talking about by lifetime venture, just go back and look at when philosophy as a study started. And there is nothing that philosophy wants to decipher other than answer these two questions. What is reality? What's the truth? Ask any philosopher, they'll fumble. They will not tell you what is reality. Because they understand reality from the point of view of evidence. And spirituality negates logic.
Yes.
And evidence is based on logic. So you must understand these things. You must really rise above the mortar that is between your ears and think in the abstract for you to be able to understand these kind of things. That is why Kukupaki said they must not take me to school, because the danger was that I was going to try and understand spiritual phenomena through the agency of the tools of conceptual analysis as were imbued on me by natural science.
Yeah.
And that was going to stand in the way of me deciphering what is being said to me. The induction. But then, with God's grace, I was able to rise above their fears, because their fears were that I might not break the mold. But I broke the mold. Now I benefited from both worlds.
Yeah, that's true, eh? Yeah. With your past experience, now you can bring that even into this mission that you are on now, this assignment. Yes.
You can take me on a stroll regarding logic. And you can take me on a stroll regarding spirituality. I'll land safely.
Yeah.
And not many can do that.
Okay. All right, Mkhulu, thank you very much. I think, if we were given a chance, we'd be talking, until the cows come home.
I enjoy talking to you because you are a very smart person, and I'm not condescending towards you. I want you to understand that I'm saying it from the bottom of my heart. That I enjoy talking to you because I have a sense that you hear me.
No, I appreciate that, Mkhulu. I appreciate that.
Not that you understand, but you hear me. I can feel that I reach you. When I talk about these things, there are certain levels of understanding, and it's another thesis talking about understanding. But I get the sense that I'm not just waffling when I talk to you. You get the sense of what I'm on about.
No, I appreciate that, Mkhulu, because there's so much to learn from every conversation that we engage in. So, on that note, Mkhulu, let us leave more stuff for later, because there's still a whole lot to discuss. So
I think I need to cool off. I'm on some vibration now.
We could talk all night, but unfortunately we have to stop there for today, and we'll come back with part 3. And I'm sure it's going to be also another Sitlabulani. So thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you taking us into your confidence, as you share with us your journey and all the things that you've experienced, you've had to go through, that it's so esoteric. It's yeah.
No, all
to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, Mkhulu, we have to say goodbye to our viewers at home. not at home while all over this. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for joining us. And please continue to like and comment and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and push those notifications, because Mkhulu would like you to not to miss any of our shows, as much as I also would not like you to miss anything. So until next time, bye for now.
Carry on.
Mkhulu.